Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Joey. If this is the first time watching one of my videos, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. It really helps support the channel. I wanted to make a video about UFC 267 because there's some very unique circumstances surrounding UFC 267. And this is so unique that it has not happened since 2011 UFC 138, Chris Lieben versus Mark Munoz. And I'm going to get to those circumstances in a minute. But I want to talk about the quality of the card so far because we have a couple fights that are announced so far. And I wanted to talk about the quality of it because that makes this news that I'm going to tell you in a minute even better, because this card is very, very good. Now, in the main event, you have Jan Blachowicz defending his light heavyweight title against Glover Teixeira. And I absolutely love this fight. This is the fight to make. You have two guys who have made a career resurgence. I mean, look back at Jan Blachowicz. At one point in time, people were acting like Luke Rockhold was going to walk over Yan and then fight John Jones. That wasn't to happen. Yan took out Corey Anderson, and a lot of people thought Corey Anderson was going to win that fight. Then he finally fought Dominic Reyes for the interim. No, actually, it was the vacant light heavyweight title. And he sends back Dominic Reyes as well, which a lot of people, myself included, were picking Reyes. Then for his first title defense, takes on who many people consider one of the best UFC fighters right now, in Israel Adesanya, moving up to try to claim two belts. A lot of people thought Adesanya was going to win that fight. I personally picked Jan Blachowicz, but a lot of people thought Adesanya was going to run through him. Jan Blachowicz wins that fight, and now here we are. He's matched up with Glover Teixeira, and Glover Teixeira is a guy who fought John Jones for the light heavyweight championship back in 2014. I don't remember, but I think this has got to be the furthest apart between two title shots. Maybe like one other guy in history. I don't really know. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But for Glover Teixeira to fight for the light heavyweight title in 2014, which I was actually there live for that event, and then get another title shot in 2021, how unheard of is that? That is 7 years difference. So that just shows you what a high level Glover Teixeira has been performing at for many, many years. And this is going to be his last shot to get UFC gold, and I can't wait to see how this fight plays out. Stylistically, it's super fun, and I really just can't wait for this fight. It's two older guys, they're not going to be around for much longer, and we get to see them in a title fight, and we get to see them on a card that has, these unique circumstances, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. So in the co-main event right now, it's listed as Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterline 2, the rematch that everybody wants to see. The first fight, Aljamain Sterline gets illegally kneed. Jan's winning the fight, but it ends via DQ because Sterling can't continue. Whether you believe if he can continue or not, either way, the ref called it off, and Aljamain Sterling is the new bantamweight champion. And a lot of people think that's undeserved, myself included. But it was Jan's fault. He shouldn't have thrown the knee. That's a topic for another video or when we're breaking down the lead up to that fight. But either way, this is a fun fight. That first fight was really, really good, especially those first two rounds. Aljamain Sterling trying to crowd Petr Yan. But we also have this great narrative now that, Aljamain Sterling doesn't deserve that belt, and Jan's trying to get back what's rightfully his. And I just can't wait for that fight. I was excited for it the first time, and I'm excited for the division to move on. We can finally get some clarity to the division after all that controversy from earlier this year, and we can see who the real champion is, and then we can move on to some of these other contenders like Rob Font, TJ Dillashaw, and so on. And that's a great fight. And the other good fight that we have announced for the card so far is Khamzat Chimaev versus Li Jingliang, which is a great welterweight fight. It's a little bit of a test for Khamzat Chimaev. It's not as big as a test as we originally thought he was going to get against Leon Edwards. But, Khamzat Chimaev won 3 fights in about 2 months last year. Then, there was so much hype behind him. The UFC wanted to give him Leon Edwards, and they rescheduled that fight so many times over. It just wasn't meant to be. And now we're getting him against at least a salvageable welterweight fighter in Li Jingliang, who has some knockout power. It's a decent test. It's a decent, way to gauge Khamzat's skills and kind of bring him up and, maybe not throw him in the deep end too soon. Let him grow his skills a little bit. And I like this fight a lot. It's not the Leon Edwards fight because I was really excited for that because it was just we had this young guy who's fought nobody, who everyone thinks is so great, fighting a guy we know is top 5 and a world-class fighter in Leon Edwards. So it's not as great as that. I think the UFC made this decision just because of Khamzat and his health issues over the past year, and he's been out now for almost a year at this point in time. So I think they kind of want to ease him back into competition, but they wanted to still give him a known guy. So there are the top 3 fights on the card as it stands right now. So now let me get to these circumstances that have not happened since 2011 at UFC 138. So this is just rumored. It's not 100% official yet, but it's looking like it's going to happen. This is going to be one of the first UFC numbered events, like 266, 267, that is going to be free. So I know, everybody who watches this channel, or some people are from different countries and everything like that, from all over the world. But in North America, at least, to buy the pay-per-view, you have to have an ESPN Plus subscription, which I believe is $6 a month, just to buy the pay-per-view, which comes out to about $75 after taxes and fees and all that stuff. So it basically cost me about $81 to order the pay-per-view through the ESPN Plus app. So now, apparently, because of some other reasoning, this is going to be free to people who would normally pay for the pay-per-view. So I don't know if that's just North America. I know some of you guys get it for like $20. And I don't know the exact, way they're going to distribute the pay-per-view. But for right now, it looks like it's not going to be an actual pay-per-view. It'll be a numbered event. It'll be UFC 267. But it's basically going to be either on ESPN, the cable channel, or on ESPN Plus. So technically, if it's on ESPN Plus, in North America, it'll cost you $6 to subscribe and watch the pay-per-view. But I don't know how it'll work everywhere else in the world. If it's going to be cheaper in North America / the United States, it's going to be cheaper all around the world for this event. And I think this is great news because it's a great card. So let me get into the reasoning why the UFC is supposedly doing this. So they have some type of agreement to go back to Abu Dhabi. And a lot of the times when they go to these other countries, they make the local fans come in at a terrible time because the majority of the UFC's revenue doesn't come from ticket sales. It comes from pay-per-view sales. And those pay-per-view sales are majority in the United States. So I remember, for example, when Michael Bisping fought Dan Henderson for the middleweight title a few years ago, the event, local time, for the fans who wanted to come to the arena and watch was like 2, 3, 4 a.m., something like that. I don't remember the exact timing. And the reason they did that is because they wanted to be in prime time for the United States / North America to be able to buy the pay-per-view for the $60, $70 price tag that it was at the time, because that's where the majority of their revenue comes from. So with this event at UFC 267, apparently there's some deal in place with the people in Abu Dhabi, and they want to give the people in Abu Dhabi better timing to attend the event live. They don't want to do the event at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. local time. They want to give them a prime time event. I don't know what time it's going to be in Abu Dhabi. I'm not even sure what time it's going to be in the United States yet. I have a general idea. But basically, it'll be, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in Abu Dhabi rather than 4 or 5 in the morning, which nobody wants to come to that, a live event at 4 or 5 in the morning. So because of the prime time in Abu Dhabi, we are going to get a weird off time in the United States. So, for example, the last event I remember doing this weird timing, they still charged for the pay-per-view, though, because such a big star was headlining, was Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Dustin Poirier. If you remember, they did that local, prime time, local time for Abu Dhabi. And so the event here, I believe it started at 11. The main card started at 2, I believe it was. And they still sold that event on pay-per-view just because Khabib is a big star, so they knew they could still make some money out of it. But with this card, even though as good as it is, it's really that good for hardcore fans. It's not going to draw in a lot of the masses like Conor McGregor would, or, other like Adesanya would. So, Glover Teixeira or Jan Blachowicz, as good of a fight as that is, it's not going to draw in some casual fans, some mainstream fans. So rather than try to sell it for $75, or in my case, it cost me about $81 between the ESPN Plus subscription and the pay-per-view cost, they're going to give it away for free on ESPN. My guess is it would be on ESPN, the cable channel, but my guess is it's going to be a combination of the two, or ESPN Plus, the streaming app. And that way they'll get a lot more viewers just because it is a bigger event. But if they try to sell that event, on a Saturday at 2 p.m. in North America, not a lot of people are going to buy that. It already doesn't draw a lot of casual fans to begin with. And then you add on the fact that it's going to be at 2 p.m., nobody's going to watch it. I know I will, but, I'm talking about to make significant sales, nobody's going to buy it at 2 p.m. in North America. So I think the UFC is thinking, well, we can probably get more people to watch if we give it away for free, or technically, the $6 charge that it costs for ESPN Plus, or we'll give it to ESPN depending on the timing with other sports and whatnot. But I just think this is absolute amazing news. I'm so happy to get a pay-per-view quality card for free. And again, the last time this has happened was UFC 138. It was Mark Munoz versus Chris Lieben, and I believe that was on a tape delay. So they had it at a weird time, but then they tape delayed it a little bit. It was such a weird thing. They've messed around with different things in the past as far as tape delaying fights, which I think make no sense. Who wants to buy a pay-per-view even though the results already happened? You know, you're not watching it live. I think the whole, rewatching an event, as far as your interest in it to pay for it, after the event's already done makes absolutely no sense. So I wouldn't want to see that. I'd rather watch it in the afternoon. And it looks like we're going to get this one for free, especially the people in North America. And, if it's free or cheap in North America, it's going to be free or cheaper around the world. So look forward to this event. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on this is. I'm really excited for this card. I think it's a quality card. I can't wait for those top 2 title fights along with the Khamzat Chimaev return. It's going to be a great card. Let me know in the comment sections what you guys think about all this. Please do me a favor and like the video. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.